What's up, y'all? Hope y'all are having a highly vibrational day. And this video is me explaining or attempting to explaining what God is. Yes, what God is. Made a video recently called I Am God. And although I said basically the same thing several times, people still didn't kind of understand what I was saying, what I was getting at that. So right now, we are going to attempt to actually explain what God is. I'm 19 years old. So, yeah, take that as you will. To understand what God is, you must first realize that God is not an ego. God does not operate within the third dimension. He operates in he, she, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably going to say he most of the time because that's just how I say it. You know what I'm saying? But it is not a thing. It is not a tangible actual thing. It is a source. It is a source in the same way that electricity is a source, kind of like a socket or a plug. It's kind of like that. So you have to realize that it does not operate within the third dimension. I say that to say this, right? We have so many different names for God. I was actually gonna write all the names for God right here, because I'm gonna get to this in a second. And what does this mean? But I actually was gonna write all the names for God right here, but there's so many names that I just decided not to do it. I didn't feel like writing all that out. No matter what you call God, it is all the same thing. Anything beyond that is an egotistical, third dimensional adjective that we put upon it. The reason why God doesn't really have a name per se is because it operates beyond this dimension. So you can give God, oh, it's Allah. Oh, it's this, oh, it's that. And I'm not talking down on no one's beliefs. I'm just stating that you can't give it a name. It operates outside of this dimension. It's like you're giving something a name that doesn't even operate into the same vibrational frequency that names operate into. Remember, words are just frequencies that have certain energies attached to them. But the same thing that created those energies, that is God. It's kind of like giving a name to your parents. Like, do you name your parents? No, you don't name your parents name you. So it's kind of confusing to give a name to God. All these religions and all this thing, they all have it confused overall. And we're not even going to get into religion. We're not even going to step into that, rabbit hole. But overall, they all have it confused because it is all literally the same freaking thing. It's like this, right? Every single finger is Dante, right? Once again, I'm not saying my ego is God, but just stick with me for this example. So each of my fingers is Dante. You don't look at one of my fingers and be like, oh, that's an individual finger. No, you say, oh, yeah, that's you. This is Dante, right? So it's like imagine my fingers are kind of like humans, right? One finger is like, oh, the creator's name is Dante. And then another one of my fingers is like, no, the creator's name is Dante Pepper. And then another one of my fingers is like, no, the creator's name is Dante James Culpepper. Then another one of my fingers is like, no, his name is Dante Culpepper. And then another of my fingers is like, hey guys, it's all the same thing. And then all the fingers are like, blasphemy, blasphemy. That's kind of what we're doing as humans. We're all giving a name to something that is the same thing. And in reality, all my fingers are a part of me. They are just extensions of me. So, and that's where we delve into this right here. We are all, at the end of the day, extensions of the Creator. So imagine this big old thing as God. Imagine this circle as God. Imagine this as the vibrational frequencies and the vibrational resonancy. The lowest vibration is a cap, right? So God can't operate into any lower frequencies. And that's why I say when you're living in your higher self, you are living in the image of God. That's what Jesus Christ was. Jesus Christ was a person living into its highest self. So it was an image of God, or it was the Son of God. So God can't operate into any lower frequency. It can't operate into any lower frequencies. So imagine this is kind of like a cap. So where this ends is where God's frequency is. God is at the highest frequency and it can't operate in any lower frequencies. Let me write one more thing. I hope y'all can see this, but God operates in the fifth dimension, the one consciousness. And then as we get lower, God splits off. This is why I say we all have inside of us extensions of the creator, because as God lowers its frequency, it splits off into individual frequencies. So imagine these is like, we're not going to get into it, but imagine these is like over souls, soul tribes, soul families, who you were reincarnated with, and kind of the same energies that you guys hold, right? And then imagine these, right? These bubbles is like thought forms, all created thought forms, you know? Everything is a thought form. This water bottle, for example, this was in somebody's head and then they designed it, and then now it is in my frequency. I technically created this water bottle, but since I'm in my ego, I do not remember the water bottle, me creating the water bottle, but an extension of me created this water bottle. So this is what these are. These are like thought forms, like the iPhone, that's the thought form of somebody. And then, so these are all like thought forms. And then these bubbles at the end are individual people. As God splits off, it operates in different frequencies and it operates in different dimensions as well. Holy shit. So right now we are living on the third dimension, but our thoughts, for example, our imaginations, our head, it is operating in the fourth dimension. As God splits off, its frequency doesn't lower, but it's able to tap into the lower frequencies. So it's able to tap into, let's say, like root chakra. See, that's why I made these certain colors, because these are the colors of the chakras. These are the type of powers that we have, type of powers that we can tap into. Lower frequencies aren't really negative. They're kind of just energies that you can tap into. So God can't tap into, let's say, an energy of fear. It can't tap into that. But we, as extensions of God, but also operating within the ego at the same time, we can tap into the frequency of faith. God stays in the frequency of faith because God knows it's God. But since we sometimes have a distance from the creator, we sometimes can't tap into the frequency of faith, or more like we can tap into the frequency of fear. Get me? I can't tap into lower frequencies, but as it splits off, it can tap into lower frequencies, and then we can tap into all the frequencies, including God's frequency of faith, of prosperity, of righteousness. We can tap into that frequency, but since we do have our ego, since we are created in the matrix, into the illusion, we can also tap into the lower frequencies of fear, of doubt, of indecision, of not knowing who we are. These little individual bubbles are thought forms. They operate into the fourth dimension. So whatever you think, when you imagine yourself driving that Maserati or driving that Tesla, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever you think, whatever goals you have, you actually already have that. You actually already have that. Thing is that you probably haven't done enough action, or maybe you have too much fear, or you're tapping into too many lower vibrations that you cannot make it dense enough to become into the third dimension. So it's like, although you have thought and although it is already real, whatever you think is going to be densified enough eventually to be created into the third dimension. The reason why you don't have what you want to have right now is because you haven't done certain actions, or you haven't had certain faith, or you haven't resonated at the same vibrational frequency of that desire, that it just didn't manifest into the third dimension. So that's when we get into law of attraction, and more like law of vibration, because it's more law of vibration, less law of attraction. But the whole point of this video, though, and to wrap it up, is that overall we are all extensions of the creator. We are all extensions of the creator. What a lot of people get confused is that we give God these names, and once again, names are just vibrational frequencies, right? That we can't give God a name because whatever. So the point is that it operates higher than this frequency. It operates higher than this dimension. Reason why a lot of people don't believe in God, or reason why, you know what I'm saying, a lot of this, a lot of that, is because it's a little too complicated for us to truly understand. This is like the most, I don't even know. This ain't it, real. This ain't nothing, right? it operates too much at a frequency that we don't really understand. It operates in the fifth dimension, and we operate in the fourth dimension. Although, you know what I'm saying, we ain't gonna get into it. Aquarian age, we're kind of shifting more into the fourth dimension a little bit more. But overall, if you want to tap into the creator, you must exhibit qualities of the creator. So fear, what are you afraid of? Think about it. If you were God, what would you be afraid of? So that's the whole point. You wouldn't be afraid of anything if you're God, right? Because you created everything. So that's the whole point. Fear is an illusion. Fear is an illusion. The only thing you should have is faith within yourself, because you're the creator. You created everything. Why would you have fear of something that you created? You get what I'm saying? That's like drawing a picture and being like, you drew the picture. Why are you afraid of the picture? You get me? And that's kind of what living within your higher self is. Because in truth, in all reality, you naturally operate within higher dimensions. Naturally, you operate within higher dimensions. This ego was kind of just a vehicle used to live within the third dimensional space. It's like you have to get into a submarine in order to get into the deep parts of the ocean. You have to enter a literal vehicle in order to enter a different space of reality, because naturally your natural body, your light body, can't operate within the third dimensional reality because it wasn't from the third dimensional reality. It's not of the third dimensional reality. So it has to enter a type of suit, a type of vehicle, a type of car where it can operate. And then what we do as humans is that we get attached to this car and we start believing into the illusion that the car is actually us. But we're not the car. We're actually the spirit that resides within the car. We are actually the human that resides within the submarine in the deep parts of the ocean. Not saying that the ego is a bad thing, but you got to realize that the ego is literally just a tool. It's just a tool, right? So you can hit yourself in the head with a hammer, or you can use a hammer to hammer a nail. It's all about what you use. A lot of people are using their ego wrong. They're getting attached to their egos. No, just use it as a vehicle. Use it to operate within the third dimension, not to suffer within the third dimension. Like, yeah. To end this video off, this is why Akhenaten and the sun is so powerful overall, because if you notice, this kind of mimics the sun's rays. This is similar to the sun's rays. This is why every prophet or figure that is really connected with spirituality, that's why they always have the sun in the back of their heads, because it's similar to the sun's rays, how the sun's rays shines on everything, and in some form we are all a part of the sun, because wherever light is, that means the sun is shining. It's kind of like how God is. Whatever you see is a part of God. Even that chair, even this ruler, everything is a part of God, because it all came from the same consciousness. Kind of like how everything is a part of the sun, because it all has a part of the sun's rays. Whatever has light on it was produced by a sun. Even when it is total darkness, it still has a percentage of the sun's light on it. So yeah, that's why Egyptians were on that real shit. I think that's it for today, guys. Overall, resonate with your higher self. This is me best explaining what I think that God is. You probably do disagree with me, and if you do, say what's up in the comments and we can talk about it, have a little debate or something of that nature. But anyways, I appreciate the love on the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.